Imagine you are in the middle of a sentence. You are articulating a thought that matters to you, perhaps at a dinner table, a business meeting, or a gathering of friends. Suddenly, a voice cuts through the air. Someone has stepped over your words, hijacking the conversation and forcing your voice into the background. In that precise moment, a biological switch flips. Your pulse quickens. Heat rises to your face. The instinct is primal. Fight back. The average person battles for airtime. They raise their voice, speaking faster and louder to drown out the intruder. They fight noise with noise. But in doing so, they look desperate. They look insecure. They have allowed an external event to disrupt their internal order. The Stoic does not fight noise with noise. The Stoic enters the void. Today, we are going to deconstruct the art of handling interruptions, not through aggression, but through the supreme power of silence and selected speech. We will look at why reaction is surrender and how pausing is actually a form of domination. We will explore the wisdom of Zeno and Epictetus to reclaim your dignity. By the end of this video, you will possess the smart phrases and the internal psychology to ensure that when others lose control of their tongues, you remain the sovereign master of your soul. To understand how to stop someone from talking over you, we must first understand the landscape of the interaction. This is the binary frame. On one side, you have the insecure interrupter. This person is volatile. They are terrified of silence. To them, a pause in conversation is a vacuum that must be filled with their own ego. They interrupt not because they are strong, but because they are frantic for validation. They believe that domination of the conversation equates to domination of the room. So, on the other side, we have the Stoic archetype, the observer. The observer is unmoved. The observer understands that true power does not scream, it whispers. When you are interrupted, the trap is to believe that you have been defeated. You feel that by stopping your speech, you have submitted. We need to reframe this immediately. Stopping is not submission, it is a tactical trap. This is what we call weaponized silence. Consider the dynamics of a spotlight. When you are speaking, the spotlight is on you. When someone interrupts, they are desperately trying to grab that spotlight. If you fight them, the two of you are wrestling in the mud, and the audience sees only chaos. But if you immediately stop, if you cut your sentence off with razor-sharp precision the moment they speak, you do something counterintuitive. You hand them the spotlight entirely, but you do it while they are stumbling. You leave them alone in the room with their own rudeness. You force them to fill the awkward space alone. This is the essence of dignity. As the Stoic philosopher Zeno of Citium famously said, "We have two ears and one mouth, so we should listen more than we say." Zeno was not telling us to be passive doormats. He was reminding us that listening and the ability to wield silence is a sign of superior character. The greatest minds in history viewed the compulsion to speak as a flaw of character, a leak in one's self-control. Therefore, when you are interrupted, you must view the interrupter not as a threat, but as a cautionary tale of a lack of temperance. Before we discuss the specific phrases, we must establish the emotional logic bridge. Why are you using these techniques? If your goal is simply to win the argument or humiliate the other person, you have already lost your Stoic footing. You are still enslaved by your ego. The goal of these phrases is not to crush the other person, it is to protect your inner sanctuary. Epictetus taught us that we cannot control what others do, only how we perceive it. If you use these phrases to snap back or be petty, you are letting their lack of emotional control dictate your state of mind. Instead, say to yourself, "I will master my tongue, so I remain the master of my soul." When you refuse to be rattled, you win a victory far greater than the argument. You win the victory of composure. With that foundation of stillness and authority, let us examine the specific phrases and nonverbal cues that stop an interrupter in their tracks. Phrase 1. I noticed you have something to say. Go ahead, I will wait. This phrase is devastatingly effective because it utilizes the binary frame. The interrupter expects resistance. They expect you to compete. When you immediately stop and verbally roll out the red carpet for them, you remove the tension they were pushing against. You are effectively saying, I am so secure in my position that I can afford to let you speak. Notice the vocabulary here. It is measured, it is polite, but the subtext is heavy. By saying I will wait, You are implying that the conversation cannot proceed until they are finished, and that you will return to your point eventually. You are the adult in the room waiting for the child to finish their tantrum. You maintain your dignity by refusing to compete for the floor. Phrase 2. Please finish your thought. Then I will finish mine. This approach appeals to the concept of justice and fairness, which are central Stoic virtues. It is not aggressive, but it is firm. It highlights the disruption without being emotional about it. When you are interrupted, you pause, look them in the eye with total stillness, and deliver this line. This establishes a contract. You are granting them permission to speak, but you are also booking your time slot for immediately after. It signals to the interrupter and everyone else listening that you have not forgotten what you were saying, and you do not intend to let the thought die. It frames the interrupter's behavior as disorderly and your behavior as structured and logical. Phrase 3. Total silence. Sometimes the smartest phrase is no phrase at all. This is the ultimate application of weaponized silence. When the interrupter cuts in, you stop instantly. You do not sigh, you do not roll your eyes, and you do not look away. You look directly at them with a neutral, unmoved expression. You wait. You let them talk. Eventually, the interrupter will sense the lack of friction. They will feel the weight of your gaze. They will likely stumble, ramble, or trail off. They are looking for a reaction: anger, annoyance, submission. When you give them nothing but a mirror reflecting their own volatility, they often become unsettled. Once they trail off, you wait one extra second, a sovereign second, and then you say, "As I was saying," you pick up your sentence exactly where you left off, as if the interruption never happened. You treat their outburst like a passing cloud that momentarily obscured the sun, but did not change its course. This demonstrates ultimate temperance. Phrase 4. I want to hear your point, but are you interrupting because you feel I'm finished? Or because you don't want to hear what I have to say? This is a higher intensity response, reserved for repeat offenders or those who are being intentionally disrespectful. It requires a tone of genuine curiosity, not sarcasm. A Stoic does not deal in sarcasm, they deal in truth. By asking this question, you force the interrupter to examine their own vibration. You are bringing the subconscious dynamic into the conscious realm. Most people interrupt on autopilot. They are driven by impulse. This question acts as a speed bump. It forces them to engage their rational mind and admit that they are breaking the social contract. Usually they will retreat and say, "No, I thought you were done. Please continue." You have reclaimed your authority without raising your voice. Phrase 5. I'm going to pause you there for a second. I wasn't quite done. There is a misconception that Stoicism is passive. It is not. It is active engagement with reality. Sometimes reality demands a boundary. If someone is speaking over you aggressively, you use a calm, low-frequency voice to hold the line. The key word here is pause. It implies you have the remote control. You are pausing the interaction. By stating, "I wasn't quite done," you are stating a fact. There is no emotion in a fact. It is not an accusation, it is a report of reality. The average person says this with a whine, "Hey, I wasn't done yet." The Stoic says it with a flat, downward inflection. It is a statement of gravity. It signals that you value your own words enough to protect them. Phrase 6. You seem very passionate about this. Why don't you start, and I will follow? This is a variation of the benevolent yield, but it adds a layer of psychological mirroring. By labeling them passionate or eager, you are framing their interruption as an excess of emotion. In Stoicism, allowing emotions to override reason is a weakness. By kindly pointing out their passion, you are subtly highlighting their lack of control, while simultaneously positioning yourself as the generous, composed listener. You are stepping out of the arena. You are refusing to fight for scraps of attention. You are taking the high ground of the observer. Often, when you give someone full permission to speak, they suddenly have less to say. The thrill of the interruption is gone because there is no resistance to push against. Now, let us integrate this into your daily life. The next time you are interrupted, feel the vibration in your body. Feel the insecure interrupter archetype rising within you, wanting to fight, wanting to shout. Recognize it, acknowledge it, then let it go. Step into the emotional logic bridge. Remind yourself, I am not here to win a shouting match. I am here to maintain my dignity. Choose your response. Will you use weaponized silence? Will you use the benevolent yield? Whatever you choose, deliver it with the weight of the ancients. Deliver it with the knowledge that Zeno and Epictetus stood in the face of emperors and slaves alike, maintaining their composure. When you refuse to battle for airtime, you become a magnet. People listen to the person who speaks least, but speaks with the most weight. By stopping when interrupted, you are not fading away. You are waiting for the noise to subside so the truth can be heard. The world is full of noise. It is full of people terrified of the void, filling every second with chatter to distract themselves from their own thoughts. Do not join them. Be the contrast. Be stillness in the storm. Remember, the goal is not just to stop them from talking over you. The goal is to ensure that even when the world is loud, you remain unmoved. That is the Stoic way. That is the path of power. As you move through your week, try these phrases. Observe the results. You will find that when you respect your own silence, the world begins to respect your speech. If you found value in this reflection, and if you wish to join a community dedicated to the pursuit of wisdom and temperance, subscribe and turn on notifications. Leave a comment below with the word composure to signal that you have reached the end of this video and that you are committed to mastering your tongue. Stand tall, remain sovereign, and let your silence speak as loudly as your words.